I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV. We've got a number of huge things going on this week, so we'll get right to it. The event that Marvel has been pimping for quite a while, Fear Itself, has begun. Fear Itself #1 ships this week, as well as Fear Itself Homefront #1, and they were both very, very good. A lot of people, myself included, were kind of crossing our fingers that Marvel was going to have another success on their hands along the lines of Civil War, as far as a big event that any reader can get into, whether you're a huge Marvel fan, whether you're a casual Marvel fan, and this is the book. Matt Fraction's doing the writing and does an excellent job in this first issue of kind of setting things up. It's a lot of story. It's a $3.99 cover price, which is not out of the question. I actually think they could have put $4.99 on this and still sold it. But there are a lot of story pages in here. The artwork by Stuart Immonen is excellent. His new Avengers stuff I wasn't as crazy about, but I think he's taken it up a notch. He's drawing most of the same characters, but the art was really impressed me in this issue. And again, it's a 7-issue series. It's going to be crossing over into pretty much all aspects of the Marvel Universe. Storyline focuses on the Red Skull's daughter, Sin, who is the new Red Skull, and she's acquired one of her father's Norse relics that he's had during World War II, and the ramifications of that. She basically is powered up to almost godlike levels. Odin has become a freak and beats the crap out of Thor. Just so much stuff is going on in here, and it's all paced well. The story's good, the artwork's good, and that's Fear Itself #1. The Homefront #1 is kind of a companion series, as Marvel has done over the last number of miniseries that they've done. This has 4 different stories in it. The main story focuses on Speedball, who, as most will recall, was the one that started the whole Civil War mess by blowing up Nitro in Stamford, Connecticut, and killing 600 innocents. And he's trying to atone for that, and that's basically his story in here. But also, the whole story deals with fear. There are all these things going on in our world, both the real world and the Marvel Comics world, that have caused people to be afraid, and how just a single spark can push people over the edge and cause them to do things that they normally wouldn't do because they're afraid. So really curious to see where both these series go. I would say they're absolutely must-reads if you're a Marvel fan. If you're a lapsed Marvel fan, you should come back and check them out. Now's the time to get back on board with them.
All right. Also new this week, Batman Beyond #4. This is the start of the second storyline, and it's a great jumping-on point for new readers. If you read the previous Batman Beyond miniseries, this ties in directly with that. Basically, you've got the fallout from someone leaking that Dick Grayson was Nightwing, and so you've got people surrounding him. And a nice point on this one is it actually kind of ties it a little more tightly in with the other Batman titles. You've got them talking about Batman Incorporated and the different Batmen. So it's a really strong book, and if you love Dick Grayson, as we all do, you should read this because he's still awesome when he's an old one-eyed man.
He's awesome as Batman, too.
That too.
Brightest Day 23, we're in the home stretch with Brightest Day. I'm not going to say too much about this because there is plenty of spoilerific material in here, but we are finally getting some answers, and there's a character that many of you might care about who makes a return to the world of DC Comics in this issue, kind of. Or maybe it's the next issue. But Brightest Day is definitely in the home stretch here, and you want to check this one out.
All right, from DNA, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning, the Annihilators #2. All of their cosmic stuff has been good, and the first issue of this was decent, but this is actually a great issue. You finally got all of these powerhouses, Beta Ray Bill, the Gladiator, Silver Surfer, Ronan the Accuser, Quasar. You finally got them all together as a team, bantering and bickering and picking on each other, and it's great because you don't usually get to see these characters. Usually when they're there, if the Silver Surfer shows up, you know you're in deep crap. But when you've got all these high-level power people together, they're actually sort of almost more human, and it's wonderful dialogue. And you've also got the backup with Rocket Raccoon and Groot, again by Abnett and Lanning, and just a great book, fun read, and nice in that you don't have to read anything else to follow it. It's just a fun, self-contained series.
Marvel's .1 initiative continues this week with Uncanny XMen 534.1. I've said it before, I'll say it again. all of the point one issues have been excellent. They're designed as jumping on points for new readers, and they're doing an excellent job of that. This issue is no exception. It's written by Kieran Gillen, who's the new regular writer of Uncanny XMen, starting with the next issue, and penciled by Carlos Pacheco, who's one of my favorite artists. He did Avengers Forever. He worked on the first arc of Green Lantern with Jeff Johns. So it looks great. It reads great. It's got all of your classic X-Men characters in it, plus Namor. And it's a good springboard into the next storyline, which you got a little write-up in the back about, which is a return to Breakworld, the Joss Whedon creation, where Kitty Pryde was stuck inside the massive bullet rocket, and lots of crazy stuff happened in Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men run. So they're headed back there, and the residents of Breakworld are not really pleased with the X-Men. But this is standalone. It also sets things up, and the X-Men books have been really good. I know a lot of people have been burned out by X-Men in the past with having so many books to choose from. But the nice thing now is that you've got a lot of X books that are all very good, and you do have a choice. You don't necessarily have to pick up every X book. Each one has its own flavor, and a lot of them, if not all of them, are worth reading.
All right, in Trade Town, we've got the collected edition of Chaos War. This was the most recent Marvel crossover involving Thor and the mighty Hercules fighting off a war of gods in the Nightmare Realm. It's a decent read by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente, who you may remember from such books as World War Hulk and Planet Hulk and everything that has noir in it that Fred Van Lente wrote. But it's a decent read. It's out, and it leads us to
Herc, #1, because someone demanded it.
I did.
Hercules has his own ongoing series once again, even though he just had one that ended not too long ago. Having said that, I've always been a fan of Hercules, especially his tenure on the Avengers in the 1980s. And this first issue is written by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente. I don't want to spoil too much from Chaos War, but Hercules is depowered. He doesn't have any of his godlike abilities any longer. He's struggling to find his place in the mortal world, but he does still have some of his relics that have powers, such as Perseus' shield, somebody's helmet that makes Hades. Hades, really?
Yeah.
Okay. The helmet that makes him invisible. If you like Clash of the Titans, you will like Herc, because there are swords and shields and helmets and cloaks that make him invisible and give him powers and such. But it's street-level stuff. He's in New York. He is fighting crime in his own way. And he's a cool character because he still has kind of that godlike persona, but he has to be a normal person and interact with normal people. He's not just hanging out with superheroes. He's hanging out with average people in the city of New York, and how they interact is worth checking out.
Plus, even a depowered Hercules still has like thousands of years of experience of fighting people.
Yes.
Smashing monsters.
And martial arts that he invented.
He did invent them, yes. Him and Perseus. They wrestled. Take from that what you will. Next up, we have Nonplayer from Image. This is a new series. Is this mini or ongoing? It's awesome.
It's a new awesome series.
It's a new awesome series. I enjoyed it. Basically, you've got this. We talk a lot about sci-fi fantasy. This is actually sci-fi fantasy. The story is science fiction, but within it, there's a lot of the fantasy trappings. You've got swords and shields and people with pointy ears, elf ears, not Vulcan ears.
Not Vulcans. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, it's a good read. It involves the way we're sort of becoming not slaves, but ensconced in technology, where technology has become so much of our lives that every tweet and every Facebook post becomes something else, and we get kind of sucked into the machine. It also is a great pickup for anyone who likes MMOs, World of Warcraft, Rift, Warhammer Online. You've heard of them. And it's a wonderful story that really taps into what's going on today, as well as recognizing more classic themes.
Written and drawn by Nate Simpson. The artwork is outstanding in this book.
It's pretty.
For the art alone, pick it up and look at it. The story's really good, too. Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 38. I will trust Marvel on this one because I don't know how many annuals there's supposed to be at this point of Spider-Man. This is the first part of Identity Wars. It's a 3-part storyline in Amazing Spider-Man's annual this year, Deadpool's annual, and the Incredible Hulk annual, and it is a really good story. You don't have to have any prior knowledge of really any of these characters. It's almost like reading a Marvel team-up. You've got Spider-Man and Deadpool and the Incredible Hulk. that gets sucked into a parallel universe through Horizon Industries, Horizon Labs, where Peter Parker works now. And Peter, in this storyline, he encounters his parallel universe counterpart, who's almost like a Batman type of character. He's the Amazing Spider. He's got a different costume. Everybody loves him. J. Jonah Jameson loves him. He's the only real hero in that universe. He has a mansion. He has a spider car. He has a spider cave called the Web. And there's a lot of humor, but there's also some serious stuff that happens. And I'm excited to read the next part. Definitely recommend it. If you're reading Spider-Man, you absolutely want to get this. If you haven't been, you can jump in with this. And if you're looking for just like I said, a kind of a classic Marvel team-up type of story, this is for you.
Next up, also from Image, we have #1 of Green Wake. What do I say about this? It's a 5-issue mini from Image.
He liked it, really.
I did like it, but I'm not. I'm at a loss for
it's
sort
hard
of.
to put your finger on Green Wake. It was easier with non-player. Green Wake is.
Yeah, it's definitely sort of a horror fantasy thing we've got going on here. You've got people that something happens to them and they get sucked into this place where no one knows where they are, and the two key characters are sort of the problem solvers of the area. They're the self-appointed welcoming committee, and they also solve.
They're almost
murders.
like cops.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're sort of like cops, but they're not appointed. They're volunteers. But yeah, if you like darker stuff, if you like House of Mystery, if you like Wormwood Gentleman Corpse,
yeah, it's definitely got a Ben Templesmith feel to it.
Absolutely, yeah. The art is not Templesmith, but it wishes it was. But Green Wake, if you like some of the to play on the darker side, this is a good book to check out.
And just a note, I mean, this is from Image, non-players from Image. We've had a number of books recently, Morning Glories, Infinite Vacation. In the April previews catalog, there are a ton of Image books that we're going to be stocking that look just outstanding. Lots of different genres, good art, good writers. So Image is, if you haven't read Image in a while and you think it's still just, Wildcats and Cyberforce and Youngblood, some of those books are still being published, and many of them, like Spawn, Savage Dragon, are still very, very good. But they're doing a lot of different things over at Image and giving a lot of independent creators good exposure that are getting them noticed by Marvel and DC. So if you're looking for alternative indie type stuff, Image is a good place to go right now. In the world of trade paperbacks, Fables Volume 15 comes out this week. Seems like we just had a Fables volume not too long ago, but that's fine with me. It should be fine with you too if you're a Fables fan. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is a great series to get non-comic readers on board. If you're hesitant to get into comics, if you're looking for something, non-capes and tights, Fables is the one to check out. If you're looking for a book that your wife or girlfriend might be interested in, if you're a woman, Fables is at the top of most female readers' reading list, but men like it too. It's like Irish Spring. A new volume of Fables is out. Come get it.
Finally, we have Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along Blog, the book. I know what you're thinking. Haven't we hoard ourselves enough on this Joss Whedon stuff? The answer is no, because this is actually a very, very awesome companion to the show. You get the complete shooting script, a bunch of behind-the-scenes shots, as well as sheet music to all of the songs. So if you're a Dr. Horrible fan, or if you're someone who's into music and capable of playing music, it's a great pickup. And if you haven't seen Dr. Horrible, you absolutely should. You can
What
watch
is wrong with you? If you haven't seen it, ask us. One of us will loan it to you.
Well, totally. Also, it's free on Hulu, I think so.
There you go. So lots of great stuff. It's kind of a heavy first week of the month, and lots of cool stuff to choose from. Reminder, Free Comic Book Day is coming up. We're just about a month away. Head over to alteregocomics.com/freecomicbookday to stay up on all of the activities we've got going on Saturday, May 7th. And we appreciate your patronage, and thanks for watching.